What's up, everyone? Yes, it is I, your host, Natalie Morrison, and you might be thinking, wasn't this called Swim Masters? Well, yes, it was, and you're definitely in the right place. We decided that we wanted to give the podcast a bit of a makeover, and we're so proud to introduce to you ReVoicing the Future, a Women of NAM podcast. Don't worry, it's still the same content, still the same hosts. We just wanted to take this to the next level. And we're excited that you're joining us on this fantastic journey. The episode that you're currently listening to was recorded before the name change. And I just wanted to let you know that you are in the right spot. So keep on listening. Be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for all new episodes of ReVoicing the Future, a Women of NAM podcast, coming soon.
Welcome to Swim Masters, a podcast dedicated to help connect, grow, and support women in the music products industry. I am your host, Natalie Morrison. The Smart Women in Music Fund was established in 2018 by Robin Walenta, Dee Dee Hyde, and Crystal Morris to expand diversity, inclusion, and support for women in the music products space. Twice a month, I will sit down and host virtual conversations with various women across our industry to help foster mentorship and growth. Now, without further ado, let's dive in. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Swim Masters. It's your host, Natalie Morrison here, alongside my trusty sidekick, Stephanie.
Hi, everybody. I love it. That I just thought of, what is it, Bullseye from Toy Story. Good to be back with everybody. How's everybody doing? It's December now, right?
It's the last month of 2020. Deep exhale.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. we were talking today. As a slight tangent, I got a new job. I'm now working at the San Francisco chapter of the Recording Academy, which is so fun. But we're planning an event for our members, and which is like loosely planning themes. We can't do this, but it popped into my head that for everything that's about the ending of this year, like, we started off this year and all this COVID stuff with like everybody being like, how are you doing? Let's check in. I feel like what we need at the end of 2020 is more like a t-shirt, like you survived a ride.
Yes.
Like I survived 2020 and we share our like survival stories now. that
Mom,
feels a lot more relevant than like, how's everybody doing? Truly, like a really campy t-shirt. And that's what I need.
I can't wait.
It's so close. But even it's not going to end, but whatever.
Well, yes. But I keep saying to people, I'm just like, everyone at the end of 2019 was like, 2020 is my decade. Like let's go. This is going to be great. And then everyone now leading into 2021 is going to be like, no, do over. Now This is really my year.
And there's nothing wrong with that. We can all just be like, well, and also like some people had great 2020s as the world crashed around them in their own little bubble. So it's just it's been a time. So I think we can, all collectively exhale and be like, it was a thing. And
but
it
also take the time to reflect.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's big.
Seriously, like take the time to, I don't know, just sit back and reflect on the year, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful. I think reflecting on the craziness that's gone on will kind of help people close up this chapter with a little bow and kind of help move everyone forward. And that's just my 2 cents.
I fully agree with that. That's a very good, like if we're not learning from stuff, then why be alive, right? Like the whole point is to be synthesizing it all and like learning and be growing, and that helps us be present. So that's a really good little note on mindfulness. I love that.
Thanks. Tips by Natalie.
Okay, coming from your morning yoga mat every day.
Even though when we're recording this, it's 8:15 on a Monday.
I know.
In New York right now, and it's pitch black outside.
Anyway.
But how are you?
Oh,
Speaking
yeah.
of
I
checking
know.
in, I feel like we should just check in with each other.
Yeah, no, I love it. I'm great. Honestly right now I'm incredibly Zoom burned out because I'm now in a wonderful new job, but I'm spending a lot more time on Zoom than usual. So I feel like I can actually put all these, we've been doing a lot of talking about how to survive in this digital age, and I think I need to start really doubling down on a lot of those lessons for myself. But otherwise, I am doing fabulously. I love my city. Things are well. Yeah, things are good. How are you, Natalie? What's going on?
I'm hanging in there. I always mention, I feel like in these podcasts that time is moving really quickly, but I really feel like that is because once November 1st hit, that was like, okay, it's NAM season. Like, let's like, even though it's all virtual this year, I'm like, oh boy, like, let's buckle up. Got to do all my press releases and all that jazz. And yeah, it's going to be interesting, but I'm still treating it as if it's a real show because it is a real show, just not in person. But I am hanging in, pushing through, you know, just reflecting on life.
How's New York City?
I think we're holding up. I mean, as we're recording this right now versus when this is going to air, it's starting to go downhill a little bit.
Uh,
So I don't know where we're going to be by the time this airs. But
we will hope that
it
it's
seems
great.
like Manhattan, which is where I am, we're holding our own. And it seems like Brooklyn and Staten Island and the other boroughs are struggling a little bit with the cases.
Oh.
So I think everyone's morale's trying to, I don't know. It's Christmas time and holiday season in New York, and that's always such a magical time. And I know that the city is still doing a lot of the things that the city is known for, like the Christmas tree just arrived at Rockefeller Center, and all those just
Mm,
like little things that I think are going to boost everyone's morale a little bit as we get into the winter. Um, but if you
yeah,
haven't been to New York City during Christmas time, it's magical.
all good things.
Anyway,
Back on track. Let's get back to it.
so Stephanie, I think you should introduce the guest for today.
Oh yeah, very happy to. Today we are talking to Karen Dunn, who is the fearless leader of KMD Productions, and she is just fantastic. So for just as like a little cheat sheet on her, she started off at Mix Magazine, was part of like the founding team of the TEC Awards, which now continue under their new NAM umbrella outside of Mix Magazine, and she's still the head of it, still kind of the go-to woman for all of the pro audio industry's events. She's truly like the best connector I've ever like known. She's fantastic and has really built a career on really authentic connection. She's just a master of being everybody's friend, which is so wonderful because they're truly that's all it is. She's just a wonderful person and just loves her industry and loves her people, and in that turn has had a really really cool career of kind of being her go-to person in her niche. So in this, we talk a lot too about she's been doing a lot of digital events in the new
Woohoo.
COVID time. So we talked to her coming up about a lot of like really tangible advice on how to network in this digital age. And still be your authentic self online, which is it's because it's a completely different medium, but there's a lot of advantages to it too. She's finding, so it was really cool to hear her perspective and on where she's going, where we're going in the future. So it's very pro audio, but a very like entrepreneur. She runs her own business, very freelance focused, very events focused conversation. So hope you enjoy it. It's fun. She's truly at a class all her own. So I'm so excited to share Karen's story with all of you. She's been a really wonderful mentor to me. So wanted to throw her in the spotlight, which she truly detests. But it's important. She's got such a good story. So
Karen, we love you so much. I survived the podcast recording.
Yes.
That should be a sticker that we send people now.
Exactly. Which honestly is so cool because it truly does prove to me that we're kind of bringing a lot of stories to the forefront that they're people that aren't used to talking about themselves. And
I
it's
know.
important. They have awesome stories.
And they're all so different too.
Yeah. That's another thing we were saying. Everybody has different advice, different perspectives, and it's so valuable. So it's our job to gently usher them into into being comfortable with sharing their experiences.
I think we should get into it. What do you think?
I think let's do it.
Woohoo! Hey, Karen, thank you so much for joining Swim Masters. Stephanie and I are so excited to have you on the podcast.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here.
So I would love to start and take it back to the beginning and walk us through the evolution of Karen and the music industry, starting with where you got your foot in the door to where we find KMD Productions today.
Okay. I've been doing this for 36 years. In fact, you can tell how long I've been doing what I love by checking out the banner over the TEC Awards. This year, it's going to say 36th annual. During those 36 years, it's expanded and gotten more complex over time, but it all began at Mix Magazine, where I worked on the very first TEC Awards and every one since. So the overall story is I started my work career at a weekly throwaway magazine in Laguna Beach. I was the they hired me to be the sports editor. They have great high school sports. So I covered all the high school sports, and I was also the religion editor and the lifestyle editor, but that was just like editing press releases. But for the sports edit, I would go and take pictures at the different events, and I learned how to use a 35 millimeter camera and to shoot in the dark at high school football games. So from there, I moved back up to the Bay Area, and I worked at a magazine in San Francisco called City Sports Magazine, and I was an editor there. I did freelance writing for different magazines and newspapers and stuff. I had a short experience as a business with a friend of mine who's a designer, and I went from there to Mix, and then the rest is history. Today, I'm working on a lot of different types of virtual events, different platforms, different clients. I'm working a lot on connecting the industry through meetings, face-to-face meetings.
I love it. Well, and so what? You played high school. You were viola too, right? You were like Tracy.
I played viola from 5th grade to
Wait,
7th grade.
you're a fellow violist?
I did not choose that instrument.
Fine. Okay. I thought we were going to bond here for a moment, Karen.
No. Well, I didn't choose. It's a beautiful instrument. I was horrible at it, but I appreciate people who play it.
Thanks.
One thing we have a lot of our you're great, Natalie. What a lot of our, or not a lot, but a handful of our guests they aren't practicing musicians, and that's something that they've been wanting to hammer home too. Like, you don't need to be like a rock star musician to work in the music industry. It has its own great culture, and there are perks to working in it other than your own musical interests, right?
Right. I have no musical ability. I don't want to be a singer. I don't want to play an instrument. But what I want to do is what I'm doing. I want to bring people together and create experiences. And Pro Audio's offered me that opportunity to do that.
I love it. And music people are just great. So there we go.
And they are. I love this industry. I absolutely love it.
We're one big happy family.
Mostly.
What was the transition like from working for other people to yourself?
I actually worked at Mix full time. In 2009, I became independent and started KMD Productions. I realized pretty quickly that you need to have a different set of skills and organizational tools to succeed in your own business. It's necessary to have a solid financial and a solid legal structure. And, of course, you want to have systems in place and processes for hiring other freelancers, which I've been doing throughout having my own business.
Yay, I love it. What were some of the things that you were seeing that you were doing really well that made you think that you should be doing it for yourself? Like what skills were valuable for that?
Well, I'm very detail oriented, but the main impetus to have my own business was I wanted to work for myself. I wanted to have my own hours. I wanted to be able to choose my clients, and I wanted to just do what I wanted to do.
Mm.
And that was one of the reasons why I went into having my own business. I've talked to other people since I started, and they would be great as a business person, but they don't, they're too afraid to take that leap.
Mhm.
And I was so focused on what I wanted to do that I wasn't afraid of it. I just was I mean, I was afraid. I was afraid all the time. But I just had faith, and I had a vision of what I wanted to do, and I just went after it.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, right? Well, and so with that too, I'm sorry, Natalie, I'm monopolizing, but what,
It's
so
fine.
after making that leap, like, what do you wish you knew about freelancing that was unexpected once you'd started your own business? And I guess in that way, like, what wisdom would you then impart on anyone that was wanting to make that leap to be prepared?
I think, one thing that I suggest to others contemplating starting their own business is finding mentors in the areas that I was talking about earlier about the financial and legal structure and those systems and processes you need to have set up before you launch your business. It's the importance of early mentoring. It's what motivated me to start the KMD Pro Speed Mentoring Program. This program, it provides music production students with the ability to connect with leaders in their chosen field to help them navigate through these areas. So, I'm just trying to bring it full circle.
Yeah, I love that. Who were some of your mentors when you were starting out? Or did you kind of is that why it's so important to you that you had to kind of like feel it out yourself?
Well, here's the deal. I don't reveal who
Oh.
my mentors were. That's
Ooh.
part of my secret
I love
sauce.
it.
I love it so much.
Well, now you have Karen's kids, your army of your own. So, yeah, and your the speed networking and mentoring events have been so invaluable. I just keep hearing from everybody. So,
Well, thank you.
but I feel very
Thanks.
fortunate to have been able to be part of all of these too from day one, and so I've watched you like from COVID's beginning, just like help the music products and pro audio community be a community again, right? So and I it's funny because that's my only experience of you and community is post COVID, but I
Right.
know just watching how much everybody loves you and loves working with you that must have always been a thing. So in the way that community plays a huge role in the way that you run KMD Pro, like how has cultivating those true friendships and relationships translated to strengthening your business? And like what are obviously it's important, but like what have you seen as like the huge like, it's kind of a no-brainer question, but for someone that might be new to the whole process of building these business
Yeah.
relationships.
Well, 36 years ago, when I worked at Mix, it was one of the main communication vehicles for the industry. So, because I was working on tech, I came into contact with key people across the audio production spectrum. And what I learned from that is developing access, developing trust, and developing friendship. It's really critical to being successful in this industry and actually in any industry. And the other thing that I found through this is don't forget to give back, because contributing your time and your learned expertise back to your industry is really important, and it's very fulfilling.
Oh, I love that.
I try to have that mindset as well with the people who have helped me get to where I am to then give it back to the people who also want to join this industry and have the same opportunities that I had or whatever future opportunities present themselves.
Right, I totally agree. I think that, you're helping the next people up to keep this business, the pro audio industry, to keep the industry going and prospering. And, who doesn't wanna turn around and help the person behind them?
Well, and I think you brought up an interesting point too that it's such a small industry that that's also just part of it. You need to be trusted, or you're not really going to get very far.
That's exactly right. I've told a lot of people that, especially, with the TEC Awards, I have a large day of staff, and I've worked with a core number of them for many years, and a lot of them started as students. And the one thing I always told them from the very beginning was, you have to be nice to everyone. Even if there's people you don't like, if there's someone who hasn't been nice to you, because if you're not nice to the person who is taking the calls at the front desk, you don't know that in 6 months or 10 years that that person's not gonna be your boss, because this industry is so small, and they all just move within the industry. So, you just gotta be nice to everybody. You gotta treat them all with respect, and that's what I do. That's what I try to do at all my events.
What was it? What we just wrote about in that white glove? Say your great line that we added. I love that.
Oh, a friend of mine told me this. He said, "Treat rock stars like a regular person and treat the regular people like rock stars." And
Oh,
that's what I do across the board in all my events.
yes, I
So
love
great.
that. That's amazing. So, because you have been really instrumental on hosting speed mentoring and speed networking events, what tips do you have for people who might find networking intimidating? And do you have any secrets that you've witnessed to be successful?
Yes. Number 1 number 1, be your authentic self. You have to be who you are. People, they don't respond they don't respond well to fake personas. They
Mm-hmm.
really don't. And if you go in and you're yourself, then people will respond to that. And if you're in a networking situation with a person who maybe intimidate you, you have to remember that they're all regular people. They might be superstars, but they're all regular people. So if you can remember that part and you treat them respectfully, but like a regular person, like what Stephanie and I just talked about. You treat that rock star like a regular person, and then you get past that intimidation. You just gotta get out of your comfort zone. You gotta do
Ooh,
whether or not you're scared of doing something, you just gotta take that one step forward. You gotta put yourself out and be yourself and just keep moving forward.
I love it. Well, and that ties in with like the smallness of our industry, right? I think that can be valuable, or that is valuable. That helps you be trusted because if you're authentic, and even if it's something as simple as like admitting on one of these breakout room things, like, "Hey, oh my," like, just being really cool about it really fast, like, "Just wanna say, like, huge fan of your work. Thank you so much for what you've done." And then going into something else, like, acknowledging that you're kind of flustered makes people it gives the person like,
Yes.
"Oh, that's fun," but at the same time, like, it also makes everybody just feel a little more, I don't know, it's authentic, and that's trust, like we were
Right.
saying, that's how you build trust.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. And I've been doing some talks back at my alma mater and just explaining to them how the reason where I am today is because of networking. Like I wouldn't be at the job that I'm at if I didn't decide to just have an informational interview to get to know that person for who they are and not because they might have a job open. That's not going to get you anywhere.
Right, right. Yeah, and there's lots of instances where I'm meeting people that I don't know why.
Mhm.
There's no purpose. There's not a purpose. It's just an event that I'm at. But in 5 years, in 5 months, there might be something, and you've already established a relationship with that person. I follow up on everything. I'll send a note. Just it can be really simple things, but when you take that extra step, people appreciate it because it doesn't happen all the time anymore.
Absolutely. And you have to make it personal too.
Yes.
Karen's the queen of the thank you card, the tangible thank you card. It makes me so happy.
But it's true though. Like people know when you're sending them like an automated mass thank you.
I write a lot of personal thank you notes. I handwrite them.
So great. Well, and what's your take on like how, so say someone just finished up, we'll go into this a little bit more about, I guess we could do it even now. Like I would love to give everybody listening like an overview of what our speed now hour. I have this problem, everybody listening, where I refer to Karen and my things as we's and ours. So anyway, Karen's KMD Pro
That's
speed.
okay. When I have problems, I always talk about how we're going to fix them.
Exactly. But so for the KMD Pro speed networking and speed mentoring events, and I guess specifically more mentoring in this capacity. So someone hops on, they get in, it's a large group, and then they get put off into breakout rooms and matched up with mentors who go with them. So say there's
Right.
someone who was in this room with a mentor. Say they're in with like Sylvia Massey, and that's wow. And everybody exchanges their emails at the end. What would you recommend is like I don't know, a non creepy way for people who are engaging in these digital networking things to follow up with people, and like what's just like in your mind protocol to reach these people in a non, in a way that doesn't overstay their welcome, but at the same time doesn't not have any follow-up attached to it.
I've seen over the course of the speed mentoring networking events that I'm doing that the mentors like to interact with the students afterwards. They put their, they post their email addresses for the students to respond. And a lot of times they'll come back from their 8 minutes together and I'll hear Al Schmidt or Sylvia Massey or someone saying, email me, my email's in the chat. What the students have to realize is that the mentors are really busy. And I've had a couple of the students email me and say, hey, this person said for me to email them and I haven't heard back. So what I tell them is you have to be patient, and they're busy. There's a lot of things going on right now. So you just have to be patient. And if they don't respond a couple weeks, then you can follow up. And it's just, hi, great to meet you. I would love to talk to you more about whatever the subject was they were talking about. And I think that,
Totally.
you just, it's kind of laid back way to do it, but you should follow up if they don't respond. But then they also have to realize that these people are busy. They have jobs and they're trying to figure out things in this COVID environment.
But that's really interesting
But
too, though, because like pre-COVID, yeah, we were busy with our jobs and everything, and I don't know, like we were traveling or something like that. But I guess the time for people to respond was like you would follow up with someone like maybe a week later. But because everyone I feel like is like 10 times more busy under these
yeah,
COVID circumstances, that timeline is now pushed a little bit more.
Yeah,
right.
which is so what you think it's counterintuitive because we're just glued to our screens all the time. But yeah, there are starred emails I have in my inbox for things that I just stare at because I'm like, I don't, and maybe it's an anxiety thing because now we're just on it so much. But like there's and you just like you have to do it, but there's so many other things, and you just
Yep.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
And you realize too that a lot of people go from Zoom meeting to Zoom meeting to Zoom meeting. So it's not like they have time to respond to anything anyway. So it just takes longer.
Yeah.
Totally. Well, and I think that's a tip too people can keep in mind because I write for this other music publication, and I tell these artists that reach out to me or the publications like feel free to bug me please, like I'm busy. So if I'm not getting back to you, it's not because I don't want to hear from you. So I think establishing yourself too, not being afraid in a respectful few weeks being like, "Hey, just, putting this back on your radar, like I had such a great time talking to you. No pressure. I know you're super busy, but would love to touch base again at some point." Like that can be also a plus, making them feel like they don't need to be stressed about your correspondence. You're
Yeah.
a safe place for that.
Right. And I get people wanting me to respond to things or to introduce them to people. And I try to be as timely as I can, but I can't always do that. And when I get follow-up emails, it's fine. I don't ever feel bothered by it. It's like, oh, great. I'm glad this person emailed me again. It reminds me I need to answer. So it's actually helpful for me.
So you were a live event producer pre-COVID and will be again post-COVID, but I haven't seen anyone doing as much pioneering work in virtual events as you. Also, I don't, you're most of the world that I've been touching, but like at the same time, like I just haven't. Like you were doing all of this the speed mentoring, speed networking. All you were also like trying things out immediately. I mean, and now I feel like that's more of a common practice I see is as people slowly get to do this more. You're still kind of one of the pioneers of that. So from being on the forefront of it, what do you see coming up next that you're super excited about, like working into KMD Pro events? And like what else is coming up on the KMD Pro events agenda for people to keep an eye out for?
It's definitely a very challenging time for the entire industry, events and otherwise, right? Um, People are used to face-to-face contact. We're social animals and we need interaction. So many of my online meetings that I host have that at their core. It's that personal interaction while building a sense of community in these difficult times. So, eh, uh, I've had the opportunity to experience like you were saying, Stephanie, I've experienced a broad variety of online meetings across multiple platforms. The added benefit for me is I've learned the pluses and minuses of the different applications and which is best to use for a specific purpose. Which brings me to the fact that I'm working now on bringing the best of all these systems together to create a platform of my own. So, like, more on that later.
Woohoo. And even like trade shows too, right? Like I keep talking about the small scale ish, which are still not that small ones, but like you've worked on a virtual trade show, which is just such a large scale.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was the, mixed, sound for film and TV event that has I think this is year number 5, so or 6. I've worked on it from the beginning, and it's always been a physical show at the Sony Music Lot. Um, and it's a great facility, right? Because it's Sony, and you don't get to get on that lot very often. So translating it to a virtual event was interesting, and, for me, everything that I do is and the part that I liked about this platform a lot was that there's a lot of interaction between people. There's so much online right now that I think the thing that you can do to make your event different is to have as much interaction as possible, whether it's, chat time or, one-to-one video or calling. If you can have that interaction between the attendees, I think you're a step up.
Totally. And keeping in mind that like these online events are kind of like the great equalizer in terms of access. Like you can have so much more access to people that you wouldn't before. And so that I feel like that's something you've been able to harness too, is just like expanding audiences for things.
Yeah, and that's really true with the speed mentoring program. A lot of these kids, I don't know if they'd have an opportunity to spend 8 minutes with a lot of the people that are mentors, and I think there's a lot of things that are really hard right now, but I think when you can get that and it's more of an equal playing field and you can meet people face to face as well as you can virtually, you're meeting face to face, 2D, trying to make it a 3D thing. I think that has actually been a good thing because people are online and it is an equal playing field.
It's almost as if it's like a blessing in disguise.
Totally, totally. Like you just imagine a giant, say you'd be at an event like Make Sound for Film. And there's only so much time after it to try to talk to the people you want to talk to no matter what. And then if they're co-opted by someone that's talking to them for say 20 minutes and you don't get your chance to talk to them, you aren't going to get your chance to talk to them. Like I think of the chairman's reception at NAM.
Oh, yeah.
It's so hard to do that. So this is an incredible way to like completely circumnavigate the challenges of in-person networking, and guarantee that you'll get FaceTime.
Exactly, and your uninterrupted time, right? So you don't have people coming up and tapping the person you're trying to talk to on the shoulder or drawing that person away to go talk to someone else they need to talk to.
Exactly. So that is a huge plus.
Also, just tips for how to navigate attending a virtual event as well. And just being mindful that you have this really rare opportunity right now that you probably won't get again once real in person events become a thing, which hopefully is sooner rather than later. But yeah, because like we were mentioning earlier, if you're at a live trade show and you want to meet up with someone, you might not even get that opportunity because your schedules are so wall to wall. So take advantage of it.
Totally.
Right. Right. And in like a virtual trade show, there are opportunities to actually set up meetings, right? So you can set up meetings with all the different people you want to get to. And it's not standing behind 5 people who wanna talk to that exact same person.
Do you think that even when live events come back, we'll still have remnants of this that kind of eke in?
Yes, yeah, I think, hybrid events are gonna be tep you know, I would think they would keep that because it expands having the virtual element of it really expands your reach. So, there are a lot of people who can't come to events, whether it's because of the time or, the distance or the amount of money you have to spend. The virtual world broadens everything. So people around the world can see an event virtually and at the same time the people that can go. So you're actually expanding your reach. So why wouldn't you want to do it that way? I mean, I love in-person events. So I like that. But I do like the idea of being able to reach a wider audience and have more people participate. I think that's a good thing.
I feel like we're almost in like a new technological revolution at this point. Like our world has just permanently expanded and it's not going to contract again in such a way as it was, right? Like everybody's it's we're all online now and we know we can be. So, it'll be interesting to see what the hybrid world looks like once cuz we've swung so far in this direction on the pendulum.
Yeah, it's not gonna be the normal we remember ever again. It's a new normal, which is exciting though, and change is great. Change is scary, it's exciting, but change is a good thing because it forces you to grow.
So, speaking of change, this is a great segue. As we know, things obviously continue to change. So, what do you hope to see for the future of the music industry?
Well, creating music is a fundamental human need. So technology simply enables it. The technology's been it's been evolving for decades, but of course it's taken a major jump now because of recent events. We do have to obey the laws of physics, and having musicians in different parts of the world actually playing live in true synchronization, it's a difficult thing to accomplish. However, tools are being developed right now that are getting us really close to that. So I think it's exciting in this time of isolation that this technology, it's allowing people to make and listen to music. It's helping relieve stress and it's keeping people happy. I think music is at our core, and in our future, I see a lot more music and a lot more personal connections.
I love that. Enabled by this new technology that we have. That's such an
Yeah,
optimistic way of looking at
exactly.
I
technological
love that.
advancement. I love it. Well, we got to, because otherwise we get scared, right? So you got to be optimistic about it.
Right, and, like we've talked about throughout this, there you just gotta keep moving forward, and there is a lot of positive stuff in what's going on right now. So we just need to keep, going forward in leaps and bounds.
Yeah, that's great. Do you have any last like tidbits of advice that you would want to share with anyone just starting out their career in music? And especially like a woman as we're speaking directly to like the women in music audience. Like what wisdom would you want to impart on someone as they embark on their career?
I think that have a plan, have a vision, and even if it scares you, just keep moving forward, and if you have a bad day, know you're gonna go to sleep and wake up the next morning and be able to step forward again.
Oh, I love
Yes.
that.
I needed to hear that today.
Oh.
It's one of those days.
It's really true because the day ends, and then you get to start again tomorrow. So, you just gotta remember that, and change, it's really scary, but it's also really good. So, that's what I have to say.
I love it. Well, Karen, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with Steph and I and telling your story and just being the rock star that you are in this industry. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much. This has been a lot of fun.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Swim Masters. Don't forget to follow us on social media, including Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, to stay up to date on all new things swim. We'd love it if you'd share and leave us a review. If you would like to learn more, please visit www.smartwomeninmusic.org. This episode was co-produced and edited by Stephanie Lamond and Natalie Morrison. See you next time.